Welcome to the Skeptic Zone, the podcast from Australia for science and reason.
Hello and welcome to the Skeptic Zone, episode number 109 for the 19th of November 2010. Richard Saunders here with you from Sydney, Australia. Happy birthday, Dr. Rachie! Happy birthday, Dr. Rachie. I hope you're having a wonderful day with lots of presents and lots of noms. On this week's show, we have a sort of a retro look back, retrospective. Yeah, all right, I'm going to play some stuff that I recorded like 10 years ago. Well, more like it was recorded 10 years ago with Stefan Sojka at Net FM. When Stefan was a DJ at Net FM, the skeptics used to come in every week. And it was sort of the ancient ancestor of the Skeptic Zone. So this week I thought I'd play for you an interview with Peter Ratbags Bowditch from ratbags.com and also a chat with Stefan and myself. Now this is because many of the Skeptic Zone team have been working flat out over weeks and weeks and months now on TAM Australia, the amazing meeting which is coming up, well, in just 1 week. And the last week especially has been very busy for us, so not much time to run around and put together a fresh Skeptic Zone. So, rather than having nothing at all, I thought you might enjoy these interviews and these chats. Actually, I will update everybody as to some latest developments on the power band front, and that'll be in the middle of the episode. So, sit back, grab that retro drink of Fanta? Passiona? What's a retro drink? Tab Cola? Whatever you want, and enjoy the Skeptic Zone.
Getting very funky there. Eric B. and Rakim there. And Motorhead before that with Ace of Spades. And Paid in Full with Eric B. and Rakim's little song. And we're back in the Skeptic Tank with Peter Bowditch. How are you going, Peter?
Oh, very well, thank you.
That's very good.
Always.
Now, one thing I'd like to remind people about the Skeptics is the fact that it's all about facts and evidence and scientific proof. Now, science isn't always perfect, and science still's got a lot to learn.
Of course it has, yes.
But along the way, it's the best thing we've got. It's the best we've got.
Well, it's really all we've got to know how the world works.
It's actually the thing that makes the world work.
Everything
that we do is based on science. I'm talking in a microphone now. I mean, if it wasn't for a scientist, there's be no way this could even be happening.
I don't know how it works.
No, I don't know how. That's right. And these computers, I mean, for God's sake, how does that work? And CDs, I mean, that is pure science. There's no magic. That's right. It's physics and science. And the reason why I'm prefacing this next little segment with that is because there are a few people out there who are living in this world, using telephones and internet and everything else, and still claiming that scientists know nothing, and they're really just a bunch of fools who are just trying to kill our children with vaccination.
Yes, this is my particular, I suppose,
pet peeve.
Pet peeve with the anti-vaccination people. And one of my things I've been stressing over the last year on my website is this person has been chosen as a hero. In fact, actually officially declared a hero in those terms.
Really?
By the International Chiropractors Association's Pediatric Council.
Oh.
This man is in prison in Florida for the rest of his life because he beat his 10-week-old child to death. And he wasn't charged with manslaughter, as people are generally in a case of shaken baby syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
He was charged with first-degree premeditated murder.
Wow.
Now, he's been declared a hero by the chiropractors, and the anti-vaccination people have accepted him as he's become their major cause. Get this man out of prison, he is innocent.
The poor guy.
I'll just describe, the website where I first read about this was actually from a supporter of his.
Mm-hmm.
And on that website, it talks about the blood in the brain, the blood in the eyes, blood in the spinal column, bruising on the brain.
Oh, a bit too much information, a bit too graphic for our poor listeners. It's pretty horrendous.
And then says, on the four broken ribs that are healing, that are broken before the final assault, and a 10-week-old baby.
10 weeks old.
And then they all said, the man's innocent. Well, they held a benefit function for him in the United States earlier this year.
Oh, wonderful.
And all the usual suspects turned up and ranted and raved. And they wanted to raise $200,000 for an appeal.
Mm-hmm.
But they only raised $4,000.
Right.
Now, some of that had to be given to some other anti-vaccination outfit, presumably to pay the cost of the name tags or something.
Yeah, for sure.
So they're now trying to raise more money. And what Alan Yurko has offered to do is he's offered to sell a kidney.
This is the guy who actually killed the baby.
Yeah.
Right.
And he's offered to sell a kidney. Now, I think he was joking. However, I've taken him seriously, but I've gone one step further than that, and I'm going to help him out.
Yep.
Now, eBay, for example, will not auction body parts anymore.
They won't?
So I'm running an auction on my website for both of his kidneys.
Both of them?
But you've got to take both.
Both at once. That sounds like a very good idea.
Now, I've received a little bit of, how could you put it, bad reaction and nasty comments about my auction of his kidneys. And including people saying, how do I know that he killed the baby? Well, I didn't, but a jury decided.
The jury decided, and all the evidence, all the proof, and he's in jail, right? Now, yeah, but why are the anti-vaccination people getting behind this guy?
I really have no idea. It's interesting that of the major 4 or 5 big anti-vaccination organisations, one of them hasn't touched it.
Right. But you were saying in the break there that anti-vaccination people believe that shaken baby syndrome is actually a result of vaccination.
Result of vaccination.
So you get vaccinated, and then all of a sudden you start shaking around and you die.
Yeah. Well, what in fact happened, in this case, the baby was vaccinated 11 days before he died.
Right.
The DTP vaccine, that's the diphtheria, tetanus, polio, justice one, generally gives a reaction within a couple of days. The reaction is generally crying.
Right.
They like to report all these adverse reactions to vaccines. Now, the adverse reactions go from baby cried when given needle. This is an adverse effect.
Yeah.
Now, I saw one the other day where somebody said that their child had this dreadful reaction and had to be taken to hospital, where they were kept in intensive care for half an hour and then sent home.
Yeah, that was crying.
That was crying.
Right. And of course, this particular baby, its reaction was to throw itself across the wall and magnetise probably the stepfather's fist to its face.
Yeah, it was, in fact, it seemed to leap across the room and hit the wall at about 60 kilometres an hour.
Yeah.
An estimate I got from a pathologist.
So this is the kind of ridiculous stuff that happens out there, and that's what the Skeptics are about, is trying to at least let people know that people are just out there saying these things and perpetuating these myths and defending horrendous acts.
But I had the beautiful thing was I published something on one of the anti-vaccination mailing lists on the internet. I'm banned from most of them. Officially banned by someone's actually one of the Yahoo lists. If I try to log on, I get a message back saying you are banned.
You are banned. Lucky you.
Another one I haven't tried to join because I know it wouldn't be allowed. But on one where they actually said anybody could be there, and as soon as I posted something to it, hysteria broke out. And one of the people, interestingly, who was a major supporter of this murderer, made a comment about me to the mailing list, and she said that being on the mailing list with me was like a woman who'd been raped, being forced to associate with rapists and the people who defended them.
Oh, I see.
Now, how she didn't see it coming, I don't know, but my response was, maybe there are people on this list with children who don't want to be on a mailing list with murderers of children and people who defend such murderers. She didn't answer.
She didn't answer. I can understand that. We're getting a bit heavy today in the Skeptic Tank. Normally we're very light-hearted. I'm going to try and lighten things up now. But the funny thing is, the serious thing is that there's a lot of serious stuff. A lot of people suffering out there, and a lot of people sticking up for people who are causing a lot of suffering. So
we'll get less serious.
We will in a minute. And I might change the subject a little bit. Talking about the kidney thing, my personal theory is that if someone kills someone, they should be forced to donate at least one organ to make up for the life that they've taken. And like, for example, that Timothy McVeigh, I mean, he could have given... How many people did he kill? 180 or something?
167.
167 pints of blood over 167 weeks. An eye, a kidney, a lung. He could have saved countless lives had he been kept alive, but no, they just killed him. And
well, he was a relatively young man, so presumably his organs would be in good condition.
He could have been saving lives for the rest of his life, and he could have made up for all those people, saved double the number of people that he killed. And I think that should happen. Anyone who kills someone, rip out an organ and save a life to make up for it. Here's the mark of Cain with retaliate. And that's what we're doing here in the Skeptic Tank today. There you go. There's Shakaya there, who made a very bad career move and came out at the same time as Shakira and Shakaya, but that was Shakaya with Stop Calling Me, an anti-stalking song, and there should be more of them here on Net FM. And here we are. We're in the Skeptic Tank. Goodness gracious me. It is the lone skeptic. We got Peter Bowditch in here. How you doing, Peter?
Good, thanks.
Yeah, you're a lone skeptic today. What's the story?
Well, one of them is in Goulburn, and the rest of them have just disappeared.
Just disappeared off the face of the earth. Maybe they've been kidnapped by aliens.
It could be an abduction. I'll check.
Let's get the theory going straight away. So, yeah, welcome along. Welcome along.
Thank you.
And for all our listeners out there, my name is Stefan, and Peter is a member of the Australian Skeptics, and this is the Skeptic Tank that we do every Thursday here on Net FM, just after 6 o'clock, which it is right now, Sydney time. What's been happening in the world of skepticism from your perspective?
Well, I think the big story is still a follow-up of last week's magic water story.
Oh, yes, we had a lot of fun with that.
I was on a media watch on Monday night, carried a reasonable summary of the whole thing. Mm-hmm. What they did was they pointed out the sort of paucity of journalism or investigative journalism that had gone into it, and that it took me... I saw the thing originally in the Good Weekend, where it all said, this is all brand new, no one's ever thought of it before, it's all amazing, and the CSIRO for 20 years have been trying to figure out what's different about the sheep down there. Took me 5 minutes to find the Colfax Water Company from 1875 selling magnesium bicarbonate in water.
Yeah, 1875?
1875,
wow. Yeah.
And that was brand new, and I also found out that this research which has shown no genetic basis whatsoever for the long-lived sheep. Mm-hmm. It's called the Ballura gene. It's been given a name, and they know about it very well. It causes twinning in sheep.
And it causes twinning. It's got nothing to do with water at all.
Nothing to do with the water at all.
I might just come in, interject at this point in time for those people who don't know what we're talking about right now. There might be some international listeners. In Sydney, Australia, we had a big story last week where a very respectable newspaper, in fact one of Australia's biggest newspapers, put out a story about some magic water, some water that could cure all kinds of illnesses and ailments, and cleansed your liver and... cancer, lengthened your life.
It made you live longer.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't actually claim cures, but the words Alzheimer's and arthritis
were mentioned.
Right,
because they knew that they'd sell a lot more water if they mentioned those two words.
They sold $2 million worth of water in 2 days.
$2 million in 2 days. Which makes me start to think that perhaps by the end of the first day they'll probably run out of the water and they'll probably just filling it up out of the tap.
I think that might have been the case, but of course we can't.
We can't say that.
We can't say that.
We can only postulate.
Yeah.
So there you go. That was the story, the magic water, and it was a journalistic, total ridiculous thing for a journalist to do, is to start claiming that water of any description has got any abilities to do those kinds of things.
What the story did demonstrate, though, was the power of PR behind this sort of nonsense. That it ran in, the magazine is an insert in the major papers in 2 cities, so it's actually probably the largest circulation magazine in the country.
Whoa.
Runs in the Saturday editions of the major papers in Sydney and Melbourne.
A lot of people reading that.
On the following Monday night, the 2 commercial current affairs programs on television both ran with the story.
Oh.
On the Tuesday morning, one of the what do you call those things? Daytime things. Lifestyle type programs ran with the story.
They ran with it as well. And the thing is, once you see it on TV, once they get you talking, people start to go, well, maybe it does. Well, maybe it is. And then next minute, everyone's just falling over for it.
And later in the week, the TV stations did get some scientists in who, being scientists, didn't say, well, it definitely can't do something. They were saying things like, well, we don't know the mechanism by which these molecules could actually get into your body. It was all too late. But my point was that this man was claiming to be a chemist. Now, I was very intrigued by the fact, and it's a long time since I've done chemistry. I was intrigued by the fact that he said he wanted to reduce acidity in the body, and he found this special mineral water from Mangrove Mountain, just north of Sydney, which had a low pH.
Right.
Now, what I remember of chemistry was that if it had a low pH, it was acidic. So how is it going to fix the acidity in your body?
That's right. And as soon as you drink it, I mean, what sort of acid's in your stomach?
Oh, hydrochloric acid.
Hydrochloric acid. I think that was kind of...
But my initial impression when I read it, he was talking about the bicarbonate ions getting inside the cells and then getting inside the mitochondria in the cells.
And working their magic.
And working their magic against the acid. And I thought, imagine it's like you get one of those seltzer powders and you throw it in water. Imagine that happening in every one of the billion cells in your body all at once.
You'd explode.
You'd
die.
You'd want to be wearing a raincoat if you were near somebody that did it. But by the time the scientists started talking, it was all too late.
Yeah.
They'd sold their $2 million worth of water.
And of course, the big thing about this was the fact that they were talking about the fact that the water had a lot of patents coming up for it that had been applied for, and so that gave it that, and the bottle is just covered. It doesn't say anything except not for therapeutic use, and patents applied for all these different things. And as we know, with patents,
you can do anything. My two favourite patents. One is a patent for the Great Pyramid.
Oh, of course.
I don't know.
An excellent design, by the way.
Yes, I don't know quite what the patent is supposed to do, but my truly most favourite patent in the world is a patent for a cat amuser. And somebody actually got a US patent for this, and it consists of holding one of those laser pointers that people use when they give talks at conferences.
Yeah.
And you shine the little red dot on the wall, and you wiggle your hand,
and the cat goes nuts.
The cat chases the red dot.
Oh, that's amazing.
So I think you can patent anything.
You can, and there's been perpetual motion machines patented as well, hasn't there?
You've got to be very careful to get a perpetual motion machine patented. The US Patent Office have since about 1910 had a rule that if they deem something to be a perpetual motion machine, you have to submit a working model.
Right.
And what the rule is that on the 366th day after the thing is submitted, if it is still working, they'll issue the patent.
Right.
So they haven't issued any. But we had a run-in with the Skeptics over the last few weeks, in fact over the last year or so, with an Australian pair that have developed not what they call a perpetual motion machine, because everybody knows they don't work. It's a free energy device.
A free energy device, absolutely.
Much in the way that
the sun is.
Much in the way that multi-level marketing is not pyramid selling.
Oh, I see.
Because pyramid selling is illegal.
That's right.
A free energy device is not perpetual motion, because perpetual motion is impossible. However, this machine produces 3,000% efficient, so it produces 30 times as much energy out as goes in.
Oh my God, we are saved. Hallelujah, the world is a better place.
My real worry about these things is if they actually work, they must keep speeding up until the point where they actually fly apart.
They explode. Well, they would, yeah. In fact, the whole planet would explode in about 3 microseconds.
Yeah, they've had some trouble raising money, this group of people. They wanted people to invest in building this thing and selling it.
Yeah.
And the idea was that you would buy one of these boxes and you'd put it in your house and you'd supply all your electricity and sell electricity back to the grid.
And all to your neighbours and everything, yeah.
I think they're a wonderful thing, because if we could get unlimited energy in Australia, we could desalinate water, we could irrigate the deserts, we could feed the world.
It'd be a paradise.
Oh, it'd be amazing. And we wouldn't have to burn coal, we could just use our coal to make plastics, to make computers and cars.
Oh, it'd be amazing. We're wonderful. Where can I invest in this product?
Well, but I can't see why the governments are covering it up, really, can you?
No, I can't. Oh, they must be in with the coal companies, I think. So, okay, and, so basically the whole thing's a big load of bunkum, and, perpetual motion and magic water, they all go in the same basket.
Yeah, one of the nice things this perpetual motion people are doing, there's another man who's had another perpetual motion machine out 30 years ago, a man named Joseph Newman, claims that they stole his ideas.
Oh, yeah, well, of course.
So interesting that the website that produced Newman's expose of their terrible perfidy and stealing his ideas is on another page running an advertisement for this for the very loose device.
Oh, of course, absolutely. Oh, it's a strange business, the perpetual motion business, the free energy business. I'm going to go back to some reality now. We're going to play a song from a band that knows all about perpetual motion, but only when they're really off their face. It's Motorhead and Ace of Spades. Yeah, that is Zini and Katini there with a song. I just have to check with management if I can actually say the name of that song. Can I say the name of that song? Oh, yes, I can. It's okay. It's called Kick Ass. Yes, Kick. Oh, it's shocking, isn't it? Yes, the skeptics are just shocked at that kind of obscenity, profanity. We're back in the Skeptic Tank here with Peter Bowditch, the creator and curator of ratbags.com.
What worries me about that song you just played, if someone had their ass kicked, would it make a difference if they sent a print in to Sylvester Stallone's mother?
Oh, right.
Sylvester Stallone's mother, Jacqueline, runs a website called Star Power, and she's an astrologer.
Right.
And she has on that website a section now called Rumpology.
Rumpology.
And what you do is, basically the principle is this. You take your trousers off, you sit on the photocopier,
photocopier date.
Press the green button, and send the resulting piece of paper off to Jacqueline, and she will tell you what's going to happen to you over the next year.
She'll read it, Now, of course, she's joking.
I don't think she is.
I think she might be. Well, even if she's not, I think she's having a bit of a laugh at the fact that a lot of people are sending their asses in.
I think she is.
I think she's kicking a lot of comedy ass on the net. And loving every minute. But the thing is, she is an astrologer, so she's already under the skeptical microscope.
That's right.
Just for being who she is.
Yeah. So, I mean, I rather like the idea. I think I will have to actually send her a print. It's just that I don't have a photocopy myself, so I just have to go down to Kinko's to get mine done.
And that's why they call it Kinko's.
That's right.
Yes, of course. Yes, indeed. Well, here we are again. This is another big skeptic tank here. We've talked about vaccinations and the horrendous things that the anti-vaccination people are claiming and doing and saying and supporting. And we've also talked about the unique water earlier on that has been floating around. $2 million worth of it got sold in Sydney last week, and we just proved right here that it's just water, basically.
Just water.
It's just water. Maybe slightly different minerals in it, but no different than the unique water that came out, when? 1875?
1875.
1875 with the same sorts of claims. Yes, science rules here in the Skeptic Tank. What else we got before we wind up this Skeptic Tank?
Oh, well, I thought, on sort of a lighter note, I mean...
That's good. Yes, please.
It isn't all about, fighting the alternative medicine people and the mad people and the shonks. There are people out there who are just generally weird.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons skeptics have an interest in these is that it's all very well to have a joke.
Yeah.
If you go to Graceland, you can actually buy an Elvis sighting diary. Now, I don't really believe
that's pretty funny.
Yeah, I don't believe that the Presley estate think that Elvis is wandering about all over the place.
But they're quite happy to sell the diary.
But it's part of a joke.
Yeah.
And so Elvis sightings is really a joke. We can talk about that
of
tomorrow.
Course. Yeah.
But there are a lot of other people out there with sort of weird ideas, and part of the problem you have with why people fall into sects, bad cults, weird medicine things, is that it's a lack of critical thinking. You see something, and instead of saying, gee, that's nuts,
you actually give it some sort of credibility. Yeah, like the O.J. Simpson might not have done it.
That's right.
Theory.
Yes.
Yeah. It's seed of doubt, and we go for it. So the seed of possibility that magic water works, or that UFOs might be already here.
And sometimes these people that make these claims appear to be very highly qualified people. Now, I found a person called George Hammond.
Yep.
Who has all sorts of university degrees.
Oh, did he invent the organ, the Hammond organ? No.
Not that one, I don't
think. A different one. Okay.
And this man claims to have found a scientific proof for the existence of God.
Oh, at last! I've been waiting for that. I've been waiting for that. I've been checking the papers every day.
Now, I know it's true because he submitted it to a magazine and they rejected it. Now, that's a sure sign that the orthodoxy doesn't want to hear it.
That the powers that be want to shut him up. Yep.
And on his website, he's written a letter that he's written to Stephen Hawking, telling him about it.
Of course, I wrote a letter to Stephen Hawking the other week too.
Well, my original comment when I first saw it was, you always go to the top.
Yeah.
Now, every time my computer crashes, I'll whip off an email to Bill Gates and say, hey, Windows is broken again, Bill.
Fix it for me, Bill.
Fix it for me. And I get about the same sort of answer that you get when you write to Stephen Hawking with a mad idea about...
Mr. Hammond's going to get from Stephen Hawking.
Yes. Right. Apparently it's based on the fact that he looked at what psychologists did, and he noticed that the brain was a three-dimensional structure. Now, I studied...
A three-dimensional structure?
Now, I studied psychology...
Hang on, let me... I'm trying to get my brain around that, but I just can't fold my brain around that whole concept.
Well, mine's only one-dimensional. I'd have to tie a knot in it.
Well, mine's one track.
One track.
One track. One track in 3 dimensions. So, yes, it's a three-dimensional structure. That's wonderful, and
that seems to be about it. Oh, he did notice it, though, when I started reading this thing, but my brain started to freeze up. He actually noticed a remarkable similarity that horses have 4 legs and cars have 4 wheels, and apparently this was of some enormous significance to him. At that point, I went and had another couple of glasses of bourbon to get into the mood for reading some more.
I think you need a lot more than bourbon to start to get that sort of movement happening. Well, look, I'm always, when I look at traffic, I see cells going down blood vessels, but that's just physics.
Right.
If you want to get from A to B, the shortest route is sort of via some sort of track, like cows walk down tracks, and the more cows you get, or the more cars you get, the bigger they're going to be. It's going to be like arteries and capillaries.
That's right.
It's science.
Yeah.
But it's also, God, I'm on Hammond's side at this stage. I'm thinking, yes, definitely. 4 wheels, 4 legs. Holy Jesus.
Because the thing that really worries me is that a year from now, this clown's going to win the Templeton Prize, which is $1 million US for the combination of religion and science.
They'll give it to him, won't they?
They'll give it to him, and we won't be laughing then.
He pieced it together. That's right. Well, you'll be bashing his door down, trying to get invited to all the parties you'll be going to.
Right. I actually got invited to a party just recently, which intrigued me. Some years ago, there's a book that came out called The Scum Manifesto by a woman named Valerie Solanas.
Okay.
And she was one of Andy Warhol's hangers-on. Mm-hmm. The Scum was for the Society for Cutting Up Men. So she was a little bit nuts, and apparently Andy said something bad about her book, so she tried to murder him. She stabbed him.
Is that right?
Well, apparently I was invited just recently, because I had mentioned this book on my website.
Oh, she's planning to cut you up.
Oh, no, I was invited to the launch in London of the Arabic version of this book. The Tate Gallery are having a Warhol retrospective, and these people decided to have their own party in the middle of it, in the middle of the major launch of it, to have this book. And they emailed me and asked me would I like to come.
Ooh, I think they got plans for you.
Well, they only gave me 24 hours notice. I would have had to actually run to the airport and just, if the Qantas plane hadn't been ready to go, I wouldn't have made it.
You wouldn't have made it. Well, at least you get it the afternoon.
Well, I asked them to give me more notice next time.
Which, of course, they will.
Of course.
So there's lots and lots of loonies out there, and of course you can find out about these loonies. One on Peter's very own website, ratbags.com. Very easy, ratbags.com. And of course the Skeptics official Australian Skeptics website, which is Skeptics, SKEPTICS, skeptics.com.au. And there's a lot of stuff on there.
There's an enormous amount of stuff on there.
Yeah, and a lot of funny stuff on your site too. I was just having a bit of a look before. There are a lot of loonies out there, aren't there?
There is no shortage.
No shortage. But we've got to steer clear of them because we're trying to get through this life in some form of sanity and try and survive all the ridiculous things that are happening, like wars and diseases and crime and all that sort of stuff.
Well, maybe we don't have to. I mean, I featured a site this week where these people are working on people becoming transhuman so that we can actually evolve and go beyond being human and live forever and last.
Oh.
But I don't need it because I've got Alex Chew's immortality rings and they'll keep me alive forever.
That's right, and I've got a bunch of crystals in my pocket and and a rabbit's foot in my other pocket, and it's all happening for us. Yes. Well, thank you, Peter. Thanks for coming in today.
Thanks for having me.
Peter the Lone Skeptic. It's very lonely in the skeptical world today, but we'll probably get Richard and maybe the couple of girls back next week as well for another Skeptic Tank. Thanks for being here. This is Stefan. Got a couple of songs to go before I close up. I'm going to do this little song from Scandalous, Make Me Crazy. Good name and very appropriate. Scandalous. Lots of scandals in the world of skepticism. Thank you.
This is a new podcast alert from Scopes Monkey Choir.
That's the name of the new podcast, Scopes Monkey Choir.
Music in a Rational Universe. I'm Matt.
I'm Hai Ting.
We're both professional musicians who love science. Each week we chat about music in science, music in practice, and music in myth and fact.
We'll mull over current studies, marvel at history, and nibble on audible oddities. All with a skeptical eye.
Scopes Monkey Choir. Music in a Rational Universe.
Download us from iTunes or find us at scopesmonkeychoir.com.
And now here's some news. To-date news that come to us from our good friends at Victoria, in Victoria, the Victorian Skeptics. And on their website, which is http://vicskeptics.wordpress.com, we find the following. TGA calls on Power Balance to withdraw claims and advertising. The promoters of the Power Balance wristbands are in trouble again. This time, the Australian Therapeutics Goods Administration, TGA, has ruled against them. In part, the decision says, In reaching this conclusion, the panel noted that the claims made in the advertisements were extraordinary to such a degree that no reasonable retailer could publish them on the basis of assurance from the product sponsor without requesting evidence that such claims could lawfully be made about the product. Now, I won't read the whole report to you. I'll let you do that yourself by going to that website, thevicskeptics.wordpress.com. But what I will do is I will read the retraction that Powerband are required to publish on their website. It reads as follows. Retraction. An advertisement for Power Balance wristbands, which we published on this website, should not have been published. In the advertisement, we unlawfully made claims that the wristband products had therapeutic effects or effects on the human body, including claims about the body's electrical balance and improving synaptic response, brain function, muscle response, stamina, oxygen uptake, recovery, flexibility, and gravitational balance. A complaint about the advertisement was recently upheld by the Complaints Resolution Panel. We provided no evidence to support any of the claims we made, and no indication that such evidence exists. The panel found that the claims were unlawful, misleading, and unverified, and breached the Therapeutics Goods Advertising Code. The panel therefore requests that we publish this retraction. The full text of the panel's determination can be found at www.tgacrp.com.au/complaints. Now, let me put it this way. It says there the panel therefore requested that we publish this retraction. We'll see if Power Balance and some other websites actually do what the TGA required them to do and publish this retraction. There's a good bet they simply will ignore it, which has been the case in the past. Look, I advise everybody to go to that website and read for yourself the complete decision from the Therapeutics Goods Administration, which is available as a PDF. But oh boy, this comes on top of the Shonky Award for Power Balance from the Choice magazine. Now we've got this TGA ruling. I noticed that in Europe they've been fined 15,000 euros for making false and misleading claims. What's 15,000 euros to them, though? So maybe the rod is setting in against Power Balance and Hot Band and Econ Band and all these holographic miracle bands that simply can't live up to their wonderfully fanciful claims. Let's not drop this, folks. Let's keep pushing this, because not only are they selling a device which clearly doesn't work, but along the way, they're abusing science. And it's up to all of us to stop people doing that, abusing what we love so much. So, that's the news about Power Balance. I'm happily wearing my placebo band right now. In fact, I'm wearing 3 of them. Clear, black, and red. Ah, what a look. What a look, everybody.
The views expressed on Monster Talk podcast do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the University of Alberta, the Students' Union, or CJSR, the University of Western Australia, the University of New South Wales, Sydney University, University of Melbourne, University of South Australia, University of Bedfordshire, the University of Suffolk, the University of Hard Knocks, Hard Drinking, Faster Cars, Faster Women, or Benjamin Radford's mother. I'm Leeching Robin, and welcome to yet another edition of Lifestyles of the Not Quite Parsec award-winning podcasters. This week, the show reports on the controversial Monster Talk podcaster, Benjamin Radford, the man, the mystery, and the rumours about him riding half-naked on a ball of Asiatic mirrors with a Fashmag slag.
Uh-oh.
We find out the facts about his humble origins.
More or less out of the blue in 1995 Puerto Rico. That looks like something that might be a combination of a man and a wolf.
We uncover details about his education, especially his Spanish influences.
I turned into a worm.
How his passion for cryptozoology started.
A wereworm, that would be cool.
And his resulting career as a writer and filmmaker.
The result of top-secret U.S. government genetic experiments, sort of like the Frankenstein element to it.
And the truth behind the rumours of Benjamin Radford and a Hollywood star.
Is that Benicio del Toro's?
Yes, that one.
Yeah.
We even feature an exclusive as to what happened to Benjamin Radford's hair.
Sure. I mean, it's sort of like, what is the Bigfoot? Of course, you're talking about something that's never been proven to exist, and so everybody has their own particular take on it.
Which is why you should tune in this week to Lifestyles of the Not Quite Parsec award-winning podcasters. Benjamin Radford, the man, the mystery, 2 camels, and a box of ducks.
You can find out the facts about Monster Talk at www.skeptic.com/podcasts/Monster Talk.
Keep on rocking! Bruce Springsteen, the man born in the USA, the man that was rock and roll. I've seen the future of rock and roll, and it is Bruce Springsteen. Actually, that was the past. Hello, Richard!
Hey, Stefan, how are you?
Hey, I'm very, very good indeed. Yes, welcome to, of course, as we might inform the listeners, welcome to the Skeptic Tank.
The Skeptic Tank, on again.
Here we are, this wonderful little Thursday, being Anzac Day as well, so it's been interesting for us. There's a bit of a melancholy mood around the city.
Oh, a little, not, yes and no. I mean, it's a big celebration of our heroism, but I saw some signs in the city saying something like remembering our past and respecting our tradition, something like that.
Yeah, but
for the ex-servicemen, it's a great day because they get together and see each other again.
And all the memories and stuff. I think it's a little bit therapeutic, I think, because really remembering the fact that the world used to just go around murdering one another based on race, which is basically what it was. It was very, the yellow peril and all that sort of stuff.
Well, sadly, it happens a lot. Still happens a lot.
Still happens now.
Race is always a good excuse. Religion is probably the biggest excuse over the years, I would expect.
Excuse, but the real reason is usually economic, of course.
Well, whatever the reason is, it boils down to we're us and you are you, and
demonize,
and we are better.
Demonize the other guy, and then it's okay to murder them.
It's like one of the theories of why humans invented gods and deities and this sort of thing.
Yeah,
was that your particular little group of humans were obviously the best.
Yeah,
without question.
Because God said so. And you invent a God to make you the best.
And any other tribes or groups of people you meet are obviously inferior. That has to be the case.
Mm-hmm.
And if anyone's superior to you, well, they must be a god.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
They must be.
There you go. It's just so simple. So what are we going to talk about today in the Skeptic Tank? Mr. Richard Saunders from the Australian Skeptics.
I thought we got off to a good start at the moment.
We did, yes. We're talking about murder.
And thank you.
Legalised and actually legitimised legal murder, because the law actually says that it's okay to kill in a war. So all you have to do is create a state of war, then you can kill people and get away with it.
Now, this is another argument altogether. Oh, boy, that's a whole other tangent.
Another whole game. So let's go to another area.
Let's sort of go through our little time warps now and zap through the portals of the... You can do this better than me. Through the
infinite dimension.
We're going to talk more about one of the things that a lot of skeptics really enjoy, which is good science fiction.
Science fiction, yes, indeed. Yeah. And now, can you tell me why it is that that the skeptics do enjoy science fiction when it is, it's fiction?
Well, as long as it... As long as it's good science fiction. I mean, it's
okay.
I mean, why do people enjoy good anything? I mean, if it's let's talk about a TV show, a science fiction TV show. Just anyone will do. It doesn't matter. But if the plot is good and the characters are good and it's well acted, well edited,
editing's very important. Like Red Dwarf, perhaps. That's
exactly. And that's funny too.
That's funny. But I think would it be right for me to presume that the reason why the skeptics, a lot of skeptics like science fiction, is because it is actually an extension of science, because what they're saying is how science could develop in the future.
Well, yes. I mean, there's a lot of shows out there. Star Trek's a very popular series set hundreds of years in the future. Sort of saying, well, now we use this little squiggler thing here and we can zap over this and pop this through the thingo.
Yeah, but did not Gene Roddenberry, the creator of Star Trek, actually consult with a lot of physicists and scientists to actually come up with some of the ideas for the show?
I think he did. He also hoodwinked a lot of people running around with this incredible equation to the network executive saying, the possibility of life on other planets is this formula here, 10 to the pi r squared. He made it up.
He made it up. Oh, really? Just to make people think that he was an authority.
But yes, that's right.
That's something the skeptics should come down on hard. We're going to nail that guy, Gene Roddenberry. We're going to bring you back from the dead, and we're going to kill him again.
Too late.
Okay.
But that's a great example of a show that got off the ground. It really got off the ground because they pitched it to the networks as a Western in space.
Oh, that's right. It was lots of
with the hero and the shoot 'em ups and the good guys riding out just in space. That's
right. But also at the time, though, when Star Trek came out, space was a very, very, very interesting thing because there was a lot of like the Sputnik and all that sort of stuff. Oh yeah,
mid-60s, absolutely. It was in around the time of the big space race between the superpowers,
satellites, and all. Everyone was trying to get to the moon and all the rest.
But again, it's why do a lot of skeptics like science fiction? Well, again. You could put up a movie, a science fiction movie, which is just rubbish anyway, and nobody likes it.
Of course not.
It's just rubbish.
Yeah, a good old-fashioned tale is always good to see.
It's always good to see, and if it's cloaked in this science fiction sort of theme, great, all the better. Oh, we enjoy it.
Yeah, well, I must admit I enjoy science fiction too.
Yeah.
And if anyone out there enjoys science fiction, you might like to get into the chat room, netfm.net, more stuff, chat, and there's a couple of skeptics in there at the moment.
I see them, yeah.
Yeah, actually, there's one skeptic and one anti-skeptic. They're fighting it out like it's like a Wild West movie. They're punching each other out. They're shooting each other out of control.
We've got some weird sort of PB82. I have no idea what that is.
Oh, he's a freak.
Is he?
He must be a freak. Anyone who's going to call themselves PB82 must be a freak. And some poor girl called Chrissy.
She just called you a geek.
She's trying to defend herself and everything.
Stefan's a geek?
Oh, you got a point there, Chrissy. I am. All right. Well, I'm going to play a little song, and we're going to come back, and I've got something very special for the Skeptic Tank.
Yeah.
Yes, I actually met in person Mr. Chewbacca himself.
Really?
Yeah, the guy who played Chewbacca in Star Wars, the very first one, which is actually the third one, the fourth one. The fourth one. It was the first one, but it was the fourth one.
Something like that. Chewbacca. The Wookiee.
The Wookiee.
The really tall, hairy thing.
Yeah, and I let him win so he didn't rip my arms off. Well, I've got an interview with him coming up soon.
Great.
So, Richard, I'm going to play another song.
Okay.
Then we're going to get into the chat room and try and hassle some of these people.
If anybody else wants to come on and ask us about science fiction or whatever, please do.
Get in there. And you can even ring us, 1-800-60-70-10. 1-800-60-70-10. You may even want to have a chat about Anzac Day and the whole I'm skeptical about war. That's my little skeptical thing.
But if you have any skeptical topics, call, write in, get in the chat, and I'll do my best to give you an answer.
Yeehaw!
A wrong one, but who cares?
It's ×3 upside down. There we have Brandy's cover, quite an accurate cover too, of Phil Collins' song "Another Day in Paradise," a major guilt trip for humanity. But I don't really feel guilty about that song because it's about a girl who lives in a country, a already quite wealthy country, going up and begging for money. Now, obviously, her parents have got a lot to do with that because they should have helped her out. They should have even had her in the first place. It's not like she's disadvantaged because of any war or anything like that. She's just disadvantaged because her parents were stupid. So I don't feel sorry for her at all, and I don't feel guilty because I've done quite well for myself. I've worked bloody hard to get where I am today, which is not very far at all, but at least I'm proud of it. And I'm not going up to millionaires and asking them for money.
Hello and welcome to the Skeptic
Tank. I'm not asking for money. Look, I'm poorer than a lot of millionaires. So, hey, millionaires, give me some money, will ya? Because I want to be really, really rich.
Hey, this is a good attitude. I like it.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Good afternoon, listeners.
No, it doesn't work.
Good afternoon, listeners, and welcome to the Skeptic Tank, and welcome Richard along into the studio.
Yes, I'm still here.
Oh, that's wonderful. We were talking a little bit earlier about science fiction.
Yeah.
And we actually, myself and Richard, both. Mm-hmm. The Skeptic Tank itself went to the Supernova Science Fiction.
We did. I must admit, yes, I do know all about your interview with the Wookiee.
Oh, that's right. Yes, indeed. So what we did, we went there just to meet Mr. Wookiee himself, and I'm going to play the interview now for all those people who just love Chewbacca. Which was a subliminal tobacco company advertising thing, Chewbacca.
That was advertising chewing gum, wasn't it?
Chewbacca. No, chewing tobacco. Chewbacca. That's what it was all about. Very subliminal, but it worked. Because ever since Star Wars came out, teenage smoking and tobacco chewing especially. Especially in the
I believe it, yes.
in the south of America. Rocking it up. Here we go. This is my interview with Chewbacca. So like, get the mouse happening. Let's go. I'm here with Peter Mayhew. I have to go down a bit because I'm going to worship this man. This is Chewbacca himself in the flesh here at the Science Fiction Convention. How have you found it so far here today?
We've had a ball. It's been great. The fans have been good all over the weekend. Today is as good as yesterday, so they've been fun.
You know, obviously you've been extremely popular. What would you call yourself? An exhibition?
Yep. Comic exhibition, sci-fi exhibition. Yeah, you know, that's what we're here for.
So do you do these things all around the world?
Mainly in the States, but we have been to Japan and all over Europe.
How does it feel to be like such a legendary character in the Hollywood movie scheme of things?
I don't consider myself. I consider myself a lucky actor to be able to have all this adulation and fan thing not thrust upon me, but it's there, and you've got to accept it for what it is and just go on with your life.
It's given you a that's your mission in life. You are now Chewbacca, and you got to accept that mission.
Oh yeah, I accept it, and also I know that if I don't do anything else, I will go down in the annals of movie history as Chewie. No doubt about that. It's one of those things that you either accept it or you walk away from the business.
Okay, and speaking of doing other things, of course, that isn't the last thing you've ever done. How's it been for the last 25 years now?
25 years. Up and down. It has. There have been times when there have been no movies and no conventions, but over the last 10 years, since the anniversary, all the anniversaries, the special editions, we've been busy.
And I guess it's very hard to go. You've gone as high as you can. It's very hard to go higher than a major character in a Star Wars movie. It feels like a lot of the guys who become rock stars when they're 19 or something. It's like, where do you go from there?
I don't know. I just want to do as much as I can and enjoy the adulation for as long as I can, but not get boring. If I got boring, I wouldn't do it. And there's always someone that hasn't heard the stories. And there's always an audience. And if you can make someone laugh, it's great.
And I guess that's a big part of it. You actually, by taking on the role that you've got, you are making a lot of contact with a lot of people and making people happy.
Yes. Yeah. You know, you've only got to look around here today. We
were talking to people before, and they were just so ecstatic that you're here and that they're getting a chance to meet you. So I think that's a good thing.
We always, wherever we go, we have a regular base of fans, whether it be States, Europe, wherever. And Japan, they absolutely go crazy. It's wonderful. But
I bet they do.
The little guys go crazy over a big guy.
They go nuts over everything over in Japan. They're crazy.
They're crazy people anyway. So, as I say, it's a wonderful feeling that know that wherever you go in the world, you'll be welcome. It's fabulous.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Chewie. It's been wonderful talking to you.
No problem. We'll see you later.
Oh,
he was a nice guy.
He was a very, very nice guy too.
Tall.
Very tall.
Oh, boy.
Very tall and very sort of... he looked a little bit jaded to me. A little bit jaded.
He had long hair.
He had long hair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was sort of... I didn't want to rub it in too much, the fact that was his big highlight in his life, but I guess it was, really.
I guess so, but hey, that's not bad.
It's not bad. I was Chewbacca.
He still is. I think he'll appear in... not this one, I think the next.
He's in another movie.
Because the character in the movie is quite old. 100 years or 200 years or something.
Oh, I see.
So I think he'll be brought back in the last movie. I'm not sure.
That's unreal. Well, there you go. There is science fiction at the coalface right here on Net FM, speaking to a Star Wars star.
It was a wonderful thing.
The Skeptic Tank.
Actually, I was just thinking earlier about why you're saying that why do a lot of skeptics like science fiction and this sort of thing. And it reminded me that a lot of people were inspired to follow scientific pursuits by watching science fiction when they were kids.
Oh, yes, indeed.
And a lot of the Star Trek cast get letters and people coming up to them quite often saying, Leonard Nimoy, Mr. Spock, you inspired me to do this.
And I'm now a nuclear physicist or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's pretty bloody good.
Yeah, they all wanted to be like Mr. Spock.
Oh, yes, they did. You inspired me to get plastic surgery on my ears. Wonderful. Oh, yes. Science fiction itself is actually, when you look back, a lot of things that we're doing right now, like we are on a radio station, we're talking through a microphone, we're going across the internet, the whole planet is interconnected.
Right. We all have little telephones.
That's right.
Like communicators.
People walking down the street talking to themselves, but they've actually on their mobile phones. They look like idiots. Really, that is science fiction to anyone who wasn't around in this century.
Yeah.
So
a lot of it is coming true.
Yeah, science fiction
and a lot quicker
back.
than you think.
And I read a book once called Snow Crash, I think it was. And apparently the book was an inspiration for virtual VRML modeling language for virtual reality, because the guy had created this future world where everything was virtual in cyberspace, and a lot of hackers and geeks and nerds and freaks who get in there and program computers actually said, let's do it. Let's do what this guy created and make these avatars and make these sort of 3D worlds, and they did it.
We're a technologically based species at the moment. Try saying that 3 times quickly, folks.
We're technologically based species. That's a wonderful thing. I'm going to take another break. In the Skeptic Tank here, we're going to step out of the tank for a minute.
Just for a minute or two. Look at the chat room. It's going crazy.
Wash ourselves off. And I'm going to play Koshin Catch, and we'll be back soon. There's Monster Magnet there with a song called Heads Explode. It was inspired by a session of the lead singer of Monster Magnet standing in front of the mirror after a shower, squeezing pimples.
Monster Magnet.
Monster Magnet.
It attracts monsters, or...
I don't know.
Or is it a big magnet? What are they trying to say?
Oh, it's a huge magnet, I think.
Right.
No. I think you were right the first time. It's like a babe magnet. Hey, baby, I'm a babe magnet. He's a monster magnet. Everywhere he goes, monsters just follow him and stick to him. It's a wonderful thing. Yes. Welcome, Richard, again, back into the Skeptic Tank.
Still here.
We've plunged back into the tank, and we're here just chatting away about science fiction.
Great topic. I love chatting about science fiction.
I love science fiction.
You remember when, in this country anyway, when I was growing up, that one of the biggest shows on the TV was, of course, Doctor Who.
Doctor Who.
Loved it.
I saw a guy on the train today reading a Doctor Who book.
Oh, there you go.
He looked like a freak.
But didn't you love all those concepts they were throwing at you, like these time machine, the TARDIS was bigger on the inside than the outside.
And that's great concept, and it's actually an actual concept in physics now, isn't it? Like quantum physics and dimensional transcendence.
That sounds good. I'll buy that.
Yeah.
But apart from that, it was a great show. It was enjoyable when you were that sort of age, and very exciting. And there were robots and lasers,
Cybermen and Daleks and things.
Oh yeah.
That somehow could never ever get downstairs.
They can now.
Oh, they can. They can
levitate.
Oh, is that right?
But they had monsters, and they had little devices like the sonic screwdriver. Do you remember that?
Ah, beautiful thing.
I wish I had one.
I think they've got them now. Most hospitals have a sonic screwdriver.
Do they?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they do. Yeah.
Well, the doctor has one.
No, they do it for breaking up kidney stones and things.
Right.
Yeah, they use
little sonic pulses.
Sonic pulses to break kidney stones. So that was inspired by Doctor Who. Doctor Who?
Undoubtedly. Undoubtedly.
Here we are in the Skeptic Tank, gibbering away as we normally do every Thursday on Net FM.
Is that a question on the chat group there? I'm just straining to
what's the question?
What's the question? Why are you skeptics so intelligent? Well, that's a question that many people try to ask us. No, that's not the question.
No, I don't think there's any question there at all.
Terrible.
We need more people in the chat room because, the people in there are just gibbering away and acting like idiots with each other.
Talking to each other.
Yeah, I think they're threatening to sue each other at the moment. It's just degenerating into a major brouhaha.
But I think one of the important things to mention when you're talking about science fiction and science fantasy is that, yes, you go along to the movies or you watch it on the TV and you sort of put your brain on hold for a little while and you enjoy it and you have a really great time.
Yeah.
But at no time do you let a production, a theatrical production...
An illusion,
get muddled up in your head with reality.
That's right.
You know, you easily distinguish between the two, or you hope to, and there's lots of people out there who find it difficult.
Have a hard time.
Yeah. And
once you've seen Independence Day or Men in Black especially, like, you know, Men in Black blew me out of the water. Like, I now think that our whole galaxy is in a marble hanging off a cat's collar.
Well, it is, but don't tell anybody.
Don't tell anybody. And it's freaked me out ever since. Yeah, every time I go to sleep, I go, but how come the galaxy's so big and the cat's so small? And it's just
transcendental, dimensional
transcendence.
Transcendence. Again, that's all happening.
Oh yes. Well, here we are in the Skeptic Tank. I think we're running out of time.
We are too. Goodness me, Richard. Tank's almost gone over time today.
We've been gibbering away too long. The tank's ready to be pumped out.
The chat room are telling us to go and have a drink.
I think we will. Thank you, Richard. It's been great having you once again. Science fiction, of course. Keep fiction and fact separate.
But we'll cover this topic again in a few weeks.
I think we will.
We will,
definitely. Thanks, listeners, for putting up with us over the last few minutes. Here's Lydia Denker with Real to Me, which is about science fiction.
Oh, okay.
It's real to me. Well, Chewbacca was very real.
Announcing Skeptours.com. Adventures for the Curious Mind. For the past 5 years, we've organized trips to some of the most interesting destinations worldwide. We're now accepting bookings for our next 2 voyages, starting with an affordable and exciting trip to Jamaica and Grand Cayman Island this March. And in October, we're going to Egypt to ponder the pyramids. Starting in Istanbul, we'll stop in Haifa and Jerusalem before we spend 2 full days in Egypt at Alexandria and Giza. Exclusive Skeptics-only tours will be included, and we may have a special guest or 2. Skeptours are tours by skeptics and for skeptics. Our trips are designed to foster community as much as education. Also, our tours are all-inclusive, no hidden fees like shipboard gratuities or port charges. For more information on our exciting trips, please visit www.skeptours.com or call us at 1-800-794-SHIP. Skeptours, Adventures for the Curious Mind.
Thank you for listening to the Skeptic Zone. Well, the next week is going to be a big one here in Sydney, Australia, I can tell you. We've got, in a couple of days, Brian Dunning is making a brief visit when he's flying into the country and flying out to Alice Springs for a few days, I think, and then he's flying back to Sydney. I've got SGU and George Hrub, some other people arriving on Monday, yeah, that's when they arrive, Monday. I've got a long list of people arriving all this week. James Randi himself should be here on Wednesday. We've got people like Jeannie Scott arriving. It just goes on. It's crazy. There's a lot to do, a lot of running around, but it's going to be a fabulous convention. Let me see if I can still belt out a Skeptic Zone for next Friday, although next Friday is going to be pretty hectic. I'll see what I can do. If not, I do appreciate your understanding, but I'll get it out as soon as I can anyway. So, until then, wish me luck. Wish the TAM Australia team luck as we get through this next hectic week. Until then, this is Richard Saunders signing off from Sydney, Australia.
You've been listening to the Skeptic Zone. Visit our website at www.skepticzone.tv for comments, contacts, and extra video reports.
The Skeptic Zone, a mirror.